Hello. Welcome to the Nerdy Folks Podcast, a conversation about the nerdy things we love and the things that matter most. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson. I'm the host of the show and chaplain to the nerd community. Today, I'm joined by nobody. Yeah, it's a solo episode, y'all, but I have you with me. So thanks for hanging out as we discuss some themes from Rings of Power. I feel like the enthusiasm for Rings of Power has been building. I've been talking to people who've really been enjoying the second season, and in this series on Rings of Power, we've been going through some of the common themes, and I've had some really fun discussions with my wife, Katie, who is often co-host of the show. She is taking tonight off. Go ahead and throw something in the comments saying that you miss her, because I know you do, because I definitely do. All right, before we head into our feature content today, let's talk about some movie and TV news, which we have not done for a while. Warner Brothers' War of the Rohirrim is set to release on December 13th, 2024. That's very exciting. The premise is as follows. Set 183 years before the events of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings film trilogy, The War of the Rohirrim tells the story of Helm Hammerhand, a legendary king of Rohan, and his family as they defend their kingdom against an army of Dunlendings. Can I just say Dunlendings is a very silly name. Anyway, Helm goes on to be the namesake for the stronghold of Helm's Deep, which of course we saw in The Two Towers. I'm curious to know if War of the Rohirrim is going to bring people to theaters in large numbers, being that it is animated. And I would even say it's not just animated, it's anime. That might work to its advantage because anime is a huge scene. But, it's not a feature film. It's a cartoon. So will it bring people out in droves? Will it not? I don't know. It probably doesn't need to, being that it is animated and does not have the budget of a massive blockbuster. Will I go see it in theaters? Probably. There is a trailer out now for War of the Rohirrim. Go check it out. Now, the MCU is not something that we have talked about as of late. There are lots of exciting projects coming up, so here is a list of some of them. Here's a list of some of the exciting projects coming out of the MCU in the next few years. Agatha All Along is out now, September 18th. That one started. Daredevil, Born Again. That's coming up soon. Captain America 4, Brave New World's coming out February of 2025. Thunderbolts, May of 2025. Fantastic Four, First Steps, July of 2025. Wow, 2025 is a big year. Avengers Doomsday 2026 and Avengers Secret War 2027, and there are many more that are supposedly coming out, including Blade, Shang-Chi 2, Spider-Man 4, and on and on and on. So there you have it, a quick update on the MCU. All right, let's move on to Rings of Power. Today I'm going to be hitting the themes of loyalty and optimism. I think these are themes that run through Tolkien's work in general and Rings of Power in particular. It's no secret that our view of loyalty has changed and maybe how important loyalty is to like one company, for example. And I think that change of point of view is evident in many areas of society. However, in the Rings of Power, loyalty is like a heroic trait, and you can see Isildur is very loyal to his queen, but Pharazôn is not. And Nori and Poppy are very loyal to the stranger, and the stranger is loyal to them as a friend. In fact, it's really interesting and fun to watch the stranger, who we're all at this point pretty certain is Gandalf. He's having this struggle between his loyalty to his friends and his loyalty to his call to become a servant of the secret fire. It's kind of a Luke Skywalker moment, right? It's like, should I finish my training and become a Jedi for the greater cause, or should I go just rescue my friends? What should I do? It's also interesting that in Rings of Power, the villains are disloyal. It's definitely a hallmark of our villains. Adar, for example, turns and betrays Sauron. And Sauron, well, he's just Sauron. He's obviously not loyal to anyone. He's deceiving, manipulating, causing problems for literally everyone. I think one of the most powerful moments so far for me, especially when it comes to loyalty, is Isildur refusing to acknowledge Pharazôn as king when his daughter is begging him to, because she wants him to live. She wants him just to accept this turn of events and make the acknowledgement so that Pharazôn can ascend to the throne without a hitch, and then everything will be fine. And he refuses because he says that if I do that, it'll destroy me as a man, and I will no longer be the person that I am, and I can't do it. I have to hang on to my loyalty. And I think even a better word for loyalty is integrity. And maybe loyalty is a subset of integrity, but just that this is who I am, this is my character, these are my beliefs, this is my faith, and I'm not going to compromise it for convenience or even for my own safety. And I thought that was really cool and very heroic and amazing. And I think in our lives, that kind of integrity can be a very powerful stabilizing force. Now, I also thought it was worth mentioning that in Lord of the Rings, now we're getting a little bit away from Rings of Power, but in Lord of the Rings, one of the more interesting characters from an integrity point of view is Boromir. And here's an example of a character who loses some of his integrity, right? His integrity breaks down because of the temptation of the Ring of Power. And he, of course, tries to take it from Frodo. The temptation's too much for him. But he has a hero's ending because he eventually shakes himself out of the spell of the ring, and he defends Merry and Pippin, and he dies trying to save them. I like characters like that because it gives me hope that even though I'm not perfect, I can strive, I can improve, and I can still be a hero. Next, I want to talk about the theme of optimism. But before I talk about optimism, I want to talk about pessimism. Some might argue that the world of Middle-earth is quite tragic. I would agree. A lot of stories set in Middle-earth are actually very tragic. That being said, there is a powerful undercurrent of belief in an ultimate good. For example, Gandalf tells Frodo that there is more at work in the world than the will of evil. There's also this belief in an afterlife that you see recurring throughout Tolkien's work, where integrity and good deeds are rewarded. And this belief anchors our heroes and enables them to suffer and strive ahead through the different trials and things that they're encountering. And I think that this view of life, this underpinning of optimism that holds us steady through a world of tragedy, is right on point with the Christian worldview, right? This world has sin and evil and tragedy. But while I'm here going through it, I'm going to do good. I'm going to fulfill my potential. And more than anything, I'm going to keep my eyes on God and on Jesus. And the book of Hebrews even says that this hope is like an anchor for our soul. And so when I say that Tolkien is optimistic, that's what I mean. And the world needs more of that kind of optimism. In fact, I was reading a recent BBC article about Katy Perry, the pop singer, and her latest album apparently had kind of a lackluster performance on the charts. Here's a quote from the article. Perry's new music just doesn't fit into the prevailing worldview that is more apathetic, nihilistic, and hedonistic. So I think the stories like Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, The Silmarillion, The Hobbit, They can inspire us to resist the downward slide into apathy, nihilism, and hedonism because they remind us that we're part of a larger tale that ultimately has a happy ending. In fact, in the film The Hobbit, Gandalf says, Saruman believes it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. It is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay, small acts of kindness and love. Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps because I am afraid, and he gives me courage. Hey, if you're experiencing some tragedy, some heartache, and you just want someone to be out there praying for you, drop us a line, info@nerdyfolks.com. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the show. You can connect with us online at nerdyfolks.com. And until next time, I love you. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.